Good evening. It's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend, and we are back. I have a list going. It's Sunday, October 4th, 2020, the year of weirdness. I just wanted to say thank you so much for everybody who supports me and who's been coming here and being willing to pay for the questions. We have been able, with 30% of the proceeds going to, actually 30% of the gross, not just the net, go to lately I've been doing the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. I'm going to keep doing that. It just feels really good. And we've been able to raise enough to provide for 315 meals. So that's pretty awesome. And that's here in New Jersey, obviously, Community Food Bank of New Jersey. As always, I'm not a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist, or financial advisor. If you need one of those, please seek those. So I finally figured out, I was trying to make the random generator, like where it would generate the name for the list of people who are subscribed to my mailing list. And so I just ended up doing it a different way. And so I did the drawing and the random generator for like a number. And then I have a list of everybody on a spreadsheet. And it went to Emily. So I emailed her, I reached out to her. I will schedule her tomorrow I'll reach out to her to schedule her a reading for tomorrow, but I did let her know and she did receive and accepted it. So I'm going to keep doing that. If you are subscribed to my email list, which you can do on my website, then you will be put into for a drawing for a free 30-minute reading. And it's basically like if you win one, then you have to wait another calendar year before you can have the opportunity to win again, just to give others a chance. So if your number, whatever, randomly gets picked again, then I'll move you through. And I've got another spreadsheet where I have it all organized because I want to be fair. So let's see, Ali, you said you just donated. So I'll just check my PayPal and I'll add you on the list. I hope everybody is doing well. Another exciting thing, my friend Tony, Anthony Pico, reached out to me again. I'm just looking for the PayPal. And he said he wants to do a show with me where we just talk about intuition, his ideas and my ideas about it, which I'm really excited about because, of course, I love to talk about intuition. And Starry Sky. That's going to put. And then Allie. Okay, gotcha. So we'll get started. Kimberly is up first. So the first three I have are Kimberly, Regine, and Mallory. I did have some like really great readings this week and some interesting things come up. And I got to meet with one of my mentees that I'm helping with her develop her own intuition and psychic abilities. So there's Maria goes in between, KK. Please, much gratitude to KK, who is my moderator. She'll keep the list going and keep you guys up to date with who's who. In between Devry and Starry Sky is Maria. Hi, Chatterbox. Okay, so let's see. I'll just say quick hellos. Breezy. Oh, Breezy. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Urban Lady. Caramel Apple. Who doesn't like caramel apples, right? The food bank. I mean, honestly, it makes me feel good because I just feel like, okay, at least it's like with the donations, we're going somewhere. We're doing something to help people. Because really, it's really unfortunate. There's a lot of people. It didn't link on it. Okay, so KK set it up for you. Is Virginia your home forever with Amanda? Is Virginia your home forever with Amanda? I feel like, okay, so I get yes really big, but I don't think where you're at is the last move forever. So I feel like you might move towns in Virginia, but not leave the state of Virginia, okay? So it just feels like maybe in 3 to 5 years, I might move again, but it doesn't feel like I'm like across the state or whatever. It just feels like I might move to a little, like another small town or another small area or something, just not far. It just feels like a little jump. So, but yeah, I do feel like that's your final. If you want to ask another real quick one, since that was kind of a yes or no, that's totally cool. You're welcome, Kimmy's. Wait, is that? Wait, hang on. Oh, sorry, my mouse is like backwards. I don't use it enough. So I'm always scrolling the wrong way. I'm like, why isn't it going? Okay. Wait, Queenie, I don't understand your question. Just wait a minute though, because you're kind of at the lower end of the list. And Chatterbox, you are not too late. You have to pay for a reading though, and wait for me to call your name. Okay. Hi, Dan. Really? Thank you. So, I didn't include your link this week, but I'm going to let you guys know about it, and then I'll include it when I leave. Dan McCluskey just started his own YouTube channel. It's called Spiritually Out of the Box, OTB. If you want to, Dan, if you want to link it or whatever on here, you can. But you guys should go and support him. He's got a lot of great stuff to offer. So it's always good to support our local or our fellow community subscribers. So hi, Emily. Emily was the big winner this week, by the way, or bit this month. So then at the end, I'll do it at the drawing at the end of the month. And then that way you have the. Yay, Lisa's here. Oh, out of the closet, not out of the box, out of the closet. Sorry, Dan. Okay, so let's see. I need Regine here. Hello, I have a super important immigration interview on October 21st. Please tell me if everything. Okay, first of all, I feel like you just need to breathe because I just felt so tight, like I was gasping for that. Oh, okay. So this is a weird thing because I'm asking them, and they said the paperwork will be fine. I see everything put together. You will be on time. You will be fine. But they're showing me something about your shoes that day, like getting flustered with them, or maybe a heel breaks or something. I don't know, but there's something weird about because I'm struggling to get my feet in my shoes. So maybe just have a backup pair of shoes. It's the best I can say for it is you might need a backup pair of shoes. But I feel otherwise everything goes smoothly. I get there early enough. I get there. I feel I'm there early and everything is fresh. The energy is really nice around it. Everything goes smoothly and in your favor. But I just feel for whatever reason, maybe bring a pair of backup shoes, a little pair of ballet flats or something that you can shove in your bag and slap on your feet. Cause there's something weird about your feet that day, with the shoes. But everything otherwise totally goes perfectly and smooth. Nothing to worry about. I feel you're very organized about it. It's funny, it's that feeling of when they show it to me of in movies when they show the woman getting ready for church and everything is if they do a montage of the person who's everything is perfect and everything goes in line and whatever, and it's it's this really it's a perfect sunny day and the air feels just right and it's a little bit crisp, and then there's something wrong with my shoe, the one thing goes wrong, and then thinking that, oh my god, everything's going to go wrong, but everything is going to go fine because I see me showing up, everything's on time, and they said everything is fine, paperwork's fine, everything goes on fine. But I just feel maybe just bring a pair of extra shoes. Mallory, if you're here, I'll take a question. Okay, there. Sorry, see, I'm doing my wheel backwards. I'm where am I? Even my kids complain about this mouse, and I know there's a way to switch it. I know. You're welcome, Regine. So Mallory is up, my sister's keeper, and Devry. What do I see for your upcoming week? So the first thing I heard was Hearts Abound, and I was like, kind of like, because you sent me that picture of the little cheese curd heart that you found. So I was like, I don't know if I'm like, I hope I'm not like, but I heard that, and then I heard the little saying, easy breezy lemon squeezy or easy peasy lemon squeezy, whichever one it is. But um, it just feels like I feel like again, it's like the air is really open and fresh this week. It's really easy. Everything goes smoothly, and I actually feel like a little pep in my step, a little bit happier, a little bit joy, kind of, because I feel like the last couple weeks have been very heavy energetically for you, and it just feels like everything seems to hit just right. The energy is just right, and I feel really good about the week. I don't see any huge major blah, but it just feels like having like that, like feeling like everything's going to be all right. What's his name? You feeling all right? All right. That's the song I keep hearing, even though it's like I'm not feeling that good myself. But it just I like that song. So I always forget, like whenever I'm on here, I'm like, who's that person again? Um, but it just feels like everything's gonna be a really good week. Like to me, it's like again, everything just smells falls like I'm able to find joy in it this week. I'm a witch. I'm a witch. Oh, I'm a charlatan. Oh, Ed. Now, psychics and mediums were in the Bible too. And in fact, Jesus and like he did mediumship and many of the other disciples. And the interesting thing is, let's talk about this one. Do you really think that God just decided like only in biblical times, nobody else? That's a shame, isn't it? But if you want to believe that, you go ahead, Ed. Good luck to you. You're welcome, Mallory. Isn't it funny that I'm a reverend in a spiritualist church? So actually, I don't even have to put the entertainment only. And it's super funny to me when people like seek me out to be like, witch, witch. Oh, that's like that. What is that practical magic? Witch, witch, you're a witch. All right. Well, I mean, it's just so stupid when people like, okay, you're going to sit around and say, God is omnipresent, he is all loving, omni everything. But I'm going to be a petty little shit and be like, but not for you and not for you. And if you don't believe exactly like, I mean, that's just stupid. Sorry. I just don't, I don't see an omni God being so petty. Joe Cocker. Yes, Joe Cocker. Thank you. I love Joe Cocker. I just couldn't think of his name. Okay, so I'm my sister's keeper. You're up, Devry, and then Maria. You asked about your son. Something. A question about your son. If you could just retype that, I didn't quite understand what you were trying to ask. And if you guys could hit like, thumbs up, and share my channel, or just tell people about me, because I know sometimes it's like takes a little bit of courage to say that you see a psychic or you chat with a psychic or spend money on it, because a lot of people are like Ed and they think that we're charlatans. Yes. Well, Ed decided I was a witch and a charlatan, which is really sad, because I feel sad for him that he can't see the magic that God provides and the blessings that God provides. Oh, my sister's keeper, you just want a general reading, so we'll talk about that. So the one thing I keep seeing that's just over and over is I keep seeing an older woman. So I don't know if it's your mom or your husband's mom, and a health issue because I just keep seeing this older woman's face, and it feels like a generation above. Does that make any sense? Not yet, Allie, but you're up soon. And then I'll check my let me check my PayPal and see while I'm waiting for Sister's Keeper. And then if there's a specific question you want, but it just if you can validate if that makes any sense to worrying about a health issue with an older give me a minute while it's refreshing. Let's see, we've got Melissa paid. Oh wait, hang on, we got a couple more people. So where did you go? Okay, sorry. Okay, so Underwood paid. This is after Allie. And then Melissa. And then Taisha. Oh, it's Breezy. Okay. Sorry. Didn't mean to give away your name. And then let me see, Joanne. And then Joanne. Okie doke. All right, y'all, let's do this. Okay, so let me look for Breezy here. Oh, no, no one. I don't know who this older woman is. What's your specific question then? Because they're bringing me to that as an issue. And I know you said that you were concerned about something. So they're bringing me to that as an issue. Oh. Has your mother passed? I would keep an eye on, this is all I'm going to say, is I would keep an eye on your mom's heart because the next thing they showed me was heart. So keep an eye on your mom's heart. If she's complaining of nausea or headache or not feeling well or just kind of being a little bit more tired, please don't ignore it and think she should just, it just feels like keep an eye on her heart, okay? You're worried about your sister, okay. I feel like with her, because I just got pulled to feeling almost like not mentally, like not mentally ill, but like going through a lot mentally. So it feels like feeling distraught and almost like depression, worried about that part of it. Does that make sense? And then just tell me your sister's name, if that's okay. I just heard she has too much on her plate. And I keep seeing her frantically like looking for stuff in her apartment. It just, I really feel like there's, okay. I honestly feel like she needs a break. Like she needs she would, I mean, it's a, I just, because I keep getting the mental health stuff, it just feels like I feel like I might need like to talk to like a therapist in order to have like an outlet how to deal with this stuff because this feels like it's bigger than I can handle on my own. It's definitely not something I can handle, but I mean, if I'm sitting in her energy and I'm feeling like her, it's more than I can handle on my own. She really would benefit from just finding a therapist that works with grief, and also, I don't know if she needs to file a police report, but I just feel like they would be able to help her with, like, dealing with this. Lisa, I'll add you to the list, okay? Yeah, I just feel like she really needs, because to me, it feels like, um not to say that she's bipolar, but it's the way someone would go into, like, going from a bipolar to a manic state, to where they might become in a manic state a little bit more, like, I just feel like not be able to focus, and maybe even, like, be a little bit more paranoid, or not hallucinating. It doesn't feel like that bad, but it feels like, or like when someone has postpartum depression, it feels like this because of this traumatic event, it kicks me into this. It's like, I mean, not that having a baby is traumatic, but I mean, technically, it's one of the biggest traumas that your body can have. But it just feels like this event creates this despair and this, like, not being able to, like, focus, maybe that I wasn't this way ever, ever, ever before, but I am now. So I think they're bothering her, but I think it's also ruminating here, and she would really benefit from getting some help. Your nephew keeps showing me the red shoes, some red tennis shoes. Chatterbox, what's your name under the thing? These red shoes, bright red shoes. I got Cheryl, Lauren, and Herdish. Hello, Herdish. I hope you're well. Everyone else too. Hello. Why won't you go back? Oh, there. Okay. So, all right. Chatterbox paid. So I've got it. And then let me see. Devry, Maria, and Starry Sky, you're up. I do feel like they'll still be in their life. The ex, Devry said, by the time her life partner and she get together, I do feel like they will still be in the picture. It doesn't feel like your life partner is a widower or anything like that, but it just feels like, it actually feels like a healthy bond both ways, right? So it feels like, it actually feels like there might be some, like, "Oh, okay," but overall, it feels like fairly healthy co-parenting, like, in a everybody's sort of on the same page about where they're at with the kids, and, like, doing what's best and behaving like adults, because that's what's best for the kids. Um, so it's not like a, "We hate each other," and this, that. So, and you also, manifest these things. Um, Manifest that you're in a really healthy space mentally to be able to maturely handle these types of relationships, and that the person that you end up with is mature enough to have this, like that's what the thing is. Um, or sorry, that's the way the triad goes. But yeah, I feel like you'll have a nice bond with them, but that it's the mom is still in the picture. Hang in there, my sister's keeper. Okay, so I'm looking at Maria. I'll do Queenie. I'll do yours. He applied for SSI. He has a neurological disability. We're getting the answer in the mail. So you want to know, Melissa, I have you on the list. Somewhere I've got you, but I have you on here. I've got you. You're under Underwood, I think. I believe that's what it is. Let me just double check this. Yeah, Melissa, you're after Underwood. So you'll be in that group. Wait, Caramel Apple, who are you? Oh, you're Underwood. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that was Devry. And then Queenie, sorry. What do you want to know exactly though? Like what it's going to be in the mail if he'll get it? Get ready, Starry Sky, Lisa, and Allie. You're the next 3 up. Let me go back up to your original question and see if I understand this. Okay, my son is waiting on an answer in the mail. Please tell me. Okay, so will he get it? I feel like yes, absolutely. And I actually feel like maybe even just a little bit more than you were expecting. It doesn't feel like a ton more, but it feels like a hair more. There's something about the envelope. Like there's going to be something weird on the envelope. It's either going to be ripped or torn, or like it looks like, I don't know if it's like this. And maybe just a slight delay in getting to you. Like it got delivered to the neighbor or something. There's something kind of goofy about it, but you get it, you'll get it. It's fine. It doesn't even feel like it's that big of a delay. It might be like the next day or something like that, but he'll be awarded it. Okay, so I've got Starry Sky, Lisa, and Allie. You guys are up to ask your questions. Allie, I would like to know how I'm doing spiritually. So you should work on. So I don't know if you have headaches or if it feels like your third eye is opening up. That's where I'm sort of being led to, but it feels like getting like I start to experience something and then I get really, really nervous and I almost like shut it down because I'm scared what it's going to be. So the first things first, you have to let go of any ideas of what you think psychic connection is, like, or how you think it's going to happen or it's supposed to happen. They're never going to do something that's so scary that you can't handle it. First of all, they're not going to do things that are scary. Your guides don't want you to open up and be freaked out and then shut it all down. That's like the opposite of what their goal is. You will, if it's from like, so also get the idea, worry out of your head of how do I know what it is? How do I know if it's good or if it's evil, right? Because like people like Ed go around saying that the stuff we do is evil, right? So pardon my French, but fuck people like Ed. Because because there are some really good spiritual people and Christians who get that, like, God can speak to you and use you to work through you. But um, the fear is like, oh my God, well, what if it's something evil? So first of all, if it's from God, I'm sorry, but the devil's not running around trying to pretend like he's empathetic and kind and doing all these wonderful things. It just doesn't work that way. Um, it'll be calm. It's absolutely calm. It's very quick the way it comes through, and it, even if it feels like it's bad, it still doesn't scare you. So like my example being when I was in college, a girlfriend and I were driving home from Eau Claire, Wisconsin to she lived in Madison and I was going to catch a ride from Madison. And about probably 1,000 feet out, I heard very calmly, and we were, if you know Wisconsin at all, like there's nothing forever. There was no, it was winter, but it wasn't like a particularly snowy day or anything. And the roads were fine and we were on the highway, and I heard, you're going to slide on some ice underneath the overpass up there. I was like, okay. Like, it was just like that. It wasn't like, oh my God. It was like, all right, cool. And we did. And like the whole time I felt like I was in this really huge bubble of calm, like jello. I was just like, whatever you do, don't oversteer. She did. I was like, whatever you do, don't freak out. I was like, it said, don't break. She did. We were fine. But the point being is that whenever it's anything, regardless of what it is, they're not going to do something to freak you out and scare you. It'll feel really calm no matter what the information is. So to get past those blocks, you just really have to like not think like, oh my God, clairaudience means I'm going to hear everybody, every spirit ever talking outside of my head, and I'm never going to keep it quiet because that's the way the movies make it look. And that's not really the way it is. So even if I hear a lot of chatter when I'm out, it's not like, again, it's never so overwhelming. And even if it gets to be like, all right, chill out, it literally is like, okay, chill the fuck out and give me a break. Pardon my French again, but I don't know. I guess I assume that all French people say fuck constantly, right? When we say pardon my French. um, so yeah, it's really calm and it's really easy, and it doesn't have to be this certain way, even when I get things as clear as I do. So that's what I really feel like is like just getting past that block and releasing that, and that will actually kind of shoot you into a new area. Um, Also, when your third eye opens up and when you're having like clear sight, right? Again, it doesn't mean apparitions just pop in front of you like TV and you're seeing all of that. You might get a quick vision and like a movie playing in your mind's eye, or a quick picture in your mind's eye. Um, it might be just when you close your eyes that you get it, or you see something quick out of the corner of your eye that just looks like a shadow that you've probably been dismissing this for years. So just try to remove the idea of what it has to be or what it's going to be so that you can remove the fear from it. Oh, when you meant maturity wise, what do you mean maturity wise? I guess whenever I think spiritually, I'm like, what's open up psychic? uh, Starry Sky, I heard yes right away for your tenants issues ending at the end of this month. I heard yes right away. Um, but I heard yes right away. And I actually feel like um, there may be like a sheriff or somebody at the door helping out with that, or a constable or whoever does that and wherever you're at. Um, but I feel like, yeah, it's going to be done. You're going to be done with this headache. Like, and like literally all ties are cut, never again. And of course, your niece is going to badmouth you, but just let it go. It doesn't matter because people will know if they know her. Um, Allie, what do you mean maturity wise though? Okay. So as far as like as I'm thinking as like growing up or whatever and growing and that stuff, it just feels like you're fine and you're right on track where you are, Allie, that you um even if you're sort of new in all of this, like you're right where you're supposed to be. So give yourself time. Don't feel like you have to be, like when I first graduated from nursing school, I wanted to be the 20-year nurse on day one. And like you don't get to be that without the experiences. So like you'll be where you're at. Oh, you're just fine. You know, we are all so hard on ourselves. I'm always like, I want to be a better person. I'm always working on it. Be gentle with yourself and be gentle with how you speak to yourself. Um, Rewrite that inner dialogue. A lot of that is subconscious, the way we talk to ourselves. And what is it? 95% of the stuff going on is subconscious. And listen, if I don't talk kindly to my plants and I'm mean and nasty to my plants are going to be sad. And there's science has proven that. So if you think that the cells in your body are any different, think again. So really rework that stuff instead of saying like, I'm such a screw up, or I'm so mean, or I'm I have a short temper. You just change it. Like, and even if it's not right now, it'll get there. So like some of the things I'm working on, I'm patient. Um, One thing that I wrote down as a manifestation back in January, and it's like happening now, was I wake up early and I'm ready to go to work out early before my kids are up and like able to get that done and knocked out. Um, so but it's as if you have it already right now, right? And if you make a mistake, you wouldn't talk to your friend and be like, "God, you're such a screw up, man." You'd be like, "It's cool. Like it happens. Everybody does this stuff. Everybody has their days, right?" It doesn't mean that you keep doing what you're doing. It just means that you become cognizant. When you start becoming mindful, like this is sort of what manifestation is when you start becoming mindful, you start to like look for all of your manifestations happening. You start to see where one glitch might happen. Like I was imagining, and just in a silly way, not like I really wanted it to happen, but somebody being critical of me, I think because I expect people to be critical of me, like, Ed. And then someone emailed me of like all these things that I could fix and how I could do better. And I thought, oh, okay. And it was fine. I took the advice for what it was and left the stuff that I didn't, I'm not interested in. Um, and I thought, I manifested that. Look at that. Like, how interesting. Not necessarily in the way that it happened, but it happened. So just, we are all insecure beings. But you know what I started realizing too is this is like women in our bodies and like being in a bathing suit and things like that. I started looking around me. I'm like, why am I like freaking out about my cellulite or whatever when like I look around me and I'm like, nobody else seems to be insecure about this. Like they're wearing this. Like I need to like just get over it and who cares? Like nobody's perfect. We all have our things. And that's like the one thing about doing all these readings is I get to see into this like very vulnerable space of people. And like the human experience is really difficult and there's no reason you should make it harder on yourself. You're a fine person. You're not trying to be a better person. Say, I'm a good person. That's it. I am good. I am love. I am kind. And I say this a lot too. Like, look in the mirror and say positive affirmations. I am good. Not I'm trying. I'm going to get there because that means I'm not this person right now, right? I am good. I am kind. I am patient. I am wise. I have healthy boundaries. I'm able to set healthy boundaries. All of these things as if you already have them. Okay, Carmel, but do I see marriage coming in your relationship? I hear yes, that something about weird timing, but then I keep seeing the month of May. Hi, MM, good to see you. So something about the month of May. Does May make sense to you at all? Melissa, Breezy, Joanne, y'all are up next. Let me just check my PayPal, and then we'll close the list now. So I'll just get through these people. Waiting for that to circle forever. So May makes sense to you. I don't know that you'll be married in May, but maybe it's engagement by May. I don't know that it's marriage by May though. You're welcome, Allie. Thanks for being here. Hi, King. You commented and I forgot to respond to your comment, King. I watched about 10 minutes of that debate. You said fun. I thought that was an interesting term for it. Okay. So then that's just validation for you because I kept seeing May. So perhaps it's that you get engaged in May, this coming May. I don't feel like marriage before then, but maybe the engagement is then, and then like you plan for the following May for marriage. You're welcome. So Melissa, Breezy, and Joanne, you're up. Oh, Lisa, let me add you in there. I saw the thing. I do feel like the therapy will help. I feel like it's going to go slower than maybe you're anticipating, like to feel better. I feel like it's like maybe, I don't feel like I start to feel like a shift for 4 to 6 weeks, and then maybe even another like few months out before I'm like starting to feel perky. Like it takes, like for whatever she's doing, it feels like it takes a little bit to get like that right level in my blood. Has your hair been falling out? I only watched like 10 minutes of it. And like, I think the whole time during the debate, the few minutes that I watched, it was towards the end because I had a meeting for church. And I was like, okay, yeah. So then I think just seeing your hair fall out and like, it's weird. I almost feel like I get goosebumps on my back or something. They're showing me something on my back, but I feel like that's just validation for the time wise. So it feels like 4 to 6 weeks, I start to notice a difference. And then like maybe the 3rd or 4th month out where I feel like I'm really feeling like myself again. And I feel like better. Okay. So Melissa, Breezy, and Joanne. Yeah. Okay. So King. So I didn't watch that much of it, but I said a lot of the like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, because that's like I was like you're like my husband was like he had been watching because like I said I was downstairs, I was on a Zoom meeting for church. My husband was like, I'm going to bed. And he's like, I expected this. And then of course like there was a couple things said, he's like, let me fact check that. And I was like, will my results come back good from my doctors when I go? Okay. So is it did they remove like a small like I just keep seeing like a little fleshy part, like small, and it almost looks like a fatty lipoma kind of thing. Like it's like it's small, and I feel like whatever it is, they got it and they removed it all, and it's like everything feels normal, like benign. But I do feel like I have to go back for checkups, like for a little bit for checkups just to make sure. A cyst, they removed it all, they got it all. So it feels like it's benign. But I feel like you have to go back a couple times just to make sure. And I don't know why that is. I don't feel like it'll come back, but maybe that's part of it. Like I don't know, but it feels like I felt like I got like the whole like sack out, like clean margins, everything like that. Oh, benign, not cancerous. You've been yawning? You're welcome, Lisa. So whatever it is, it feels like I don't know what that is. Yoni steaming? I don't know what that is. I'll have to Google that. Whatever it is when they come back, it feels like whatever is it's okay. It's not like, but that I might have to go back a little bit just for follow-ups. I'm so happy you found me too, Queenie. Oh, that. Oh. Well, oh, Lord. I don't think that that stuff really works. I gotta be honest with you, like, even intuition-wise, I'm like, "Oh, that's a funny gimmick." Um, sorry. Oh, I just can't I do you just sit over like a bowl? Is it like when you do when somebody has a baby, you can do like a sitz bath and it's like a plastic hat almost, and then it has a bag of warm water that you hang on and it like has a tube that drains and you sit on it, just makes your vulva, hoo-ha, whatever you want to call it, feel better. How does the steam work? I'll have to Google. Don't tell me here. Over a bucket. Oh, gotcha. Oh, I don't really think that's gonna do anything, but is that what you're oh, so it felt like whatever it is, like, so did they take like a scrape or something like that? Whatever it is that they took, it just feels like it helps your cyst. Okay. Um, whatever it is, it feels like it's benign, but I still have to go back to keep getting checked out of caution. Sorry, any gentlemen might have gotten this. Hang on, King. I'll talk to you about that in just a second. Let me get through these people's questions that paid, and we'll talk to you about your friend because I think that that's something important to hit on, especially when because a lot of people have had people who have passed from suicide. Melissa wants to know, in the case against my mortgage company, pay as much of the settlement as my attorney implied. So it feels like they will, but it feels like then the cut to your attorney or cut for something. So it feels like I don't get the actual full amount, but it gets really close to it. I think that you'll be happy. I feel like they said you'll be quite satisfied. You'll be quite happy with it. Um, I do feel a slight delay. So it's either a slight delay in the check getting cut or a slight delay in the judgment coming with it, or whatever the settlement thing is. Like for whatever reason, there's just a slight delay, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. So Joanne, Cheryl, Lauren, and Herdish. And while I'm waiting, okay, hi Joe. All right, so Shane. Does he have headaches? And the other thing I feel like is he's an empath. So I feel like he's very sensitive to other people's energies. Um Meaning like maybe he would have been the kid that would have been extremely you would have said, "Oh, he's really shy." Like he's very sensitive to other people. I just keep feeling like I'm actually maybe even connecting in with spirit, and that's part of the thing that's kind of distracting me, and I don't know the difference. Have you ever done, because I just also feel like like he has a lot of food sensitivities and not aware of it. Have you ever done one of those blood tests where they check for food sensitivities? You're welcome, Breezy. So I think that that's leaning towards having his headache, and I actually think that it actually causes some of his stuff. But I think there's maybe even something else that he eats that's like not. So I don't know if it's like soy or what it is, but it just feels like there's something else that's an issue for him. So it's not just a straight gluten thing. Um, does he eat a lot of nuts? There's just maybe even look at foods that even you can Google this of like foods that trigger headaches. A lot of nuts trigger headaches. I can't eat many nuts. There's a few I can eat, but not many. I like cashews, I adore, not dorm. And they actually trigger headaches for me, so I can't eat those. But I do feel like you're welcome, Melissa. I do feel like okay. So this is interesting because I'm like, what? What's he gonna do? And I do feel like I'm like into like computers or maybe even gaming or something like that. Like I feel like I actually can focus and do this. Um, but I feel like a huge part of him being here is also for you to learn acceptance and like really just loving him unconditionally, which I sort of think you do, but I think it's like this life lesson sort of for the both of you. Are you super type A, like very like almost OCD about like because I feel like very frustrated about things not being like the way they're supposed to be, like in line, cleaned up. He's a huge gamer. Okay. That's the only thing you can focus on. I actually feel like that may be like the route that he goes in. Like he might even okay. Okay. So some of this stuff comes up because what does it matter? You didn't ask me anything about yourself, but what does it matter? It's just validations that I'm tapping in. I honestly think he might end up doing something where he's developing games. I don't know how that works or whatever, but I just feel like coding, maybe even. Um, I feel like that would be like the area he would roll into. I do feel like at a point he'll start to kind of understand and make the connection, but like I feel better if I eat a certain way and take care of myself, and it'll stop being like, whatever, I don't care that he's gonna hit that. Um, but I don't know that he's gonna be like the one that ventures off all around the world and whatever. Like I think even, when he does finally move out, I do feel like he'll be home for a while just because it's more comfortable being an empath and then having all that other stuff is really hard then to like kind of jut yourself out into the world. So I just feel like he'll still be close by home and still be very close with you. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know that it's like so some people it's like I always hate that idea when people say like you have a life purpose and I'm like, "Yo, your whole experience here is your purpose." It's not just like this one thing. Cuz like if my only purpose to be here was to do this spiritual stuff, like then every other experience that I've had is just like, "Oh well, what was that about? Nothing. Who cares?" Like it's every single experience that you have is your purpose for being here and not one thing less. So, I really do feel like it's gonna be more about it's about your relationship and you're learning to accept and love unconditionally without expectation, which is maybe something that's been harder for you to do with other people. Um, and also sort of like not having life have to be in this like box, right? That it whatever happiness and success is, it doesn't have to live in that little box. And he's sort of pushing you to see that. Um, I also feel like he not like hears voices, but just like um, he's really sensitive to being around people. Like he gets messages for them, but doesn't know. Like just thinks it's normal. This is like what I was when I was a little girl. I thought, oh, everybody has dreams about things coming true, and everybody knows what that other person is thinking, or that they like you, or their energy feels like, or whatever. I thought everybody had it, and while everybody has a potential, not everybody is like naturally inclined, or as open naturally. So it just feels like he's a little bit more open than, and he doesn't really understand that stuff. So um, maybe one day in like 5 or 6 years, he'll start to like kind of get the whole manifestation I am thing and sort of like make a deeper spiritual connection. Um, but I'm going to leave you with that. Gamer, I'm not taking any new questions tonight. Cheryl, Lauren, and Herdish are last on my list. Have I been in prison? I look familiar. Oh, no. I know you're here, King. Okay, I'm going to put your name here because I want to address your stuff. Okay, thank you for saying that. If you don't laugh, you're welcome, Joe. Yeah, no prison time for me. I'm a pretty straight and narrow girl. Okay, so Cheryl, Lauren, and Herdish, if you want to ask your questions, and we'll kind of like poke back and forth with King. So the thing about the pandemic is I don't think it's gonna like be like, and I've said this like since the very beginning, I don't think that we're ever going to be totally rid of COVID-19. I feel like they'll get a vaccine. It'll be like the flu, like, right? So it'll always kind of be around, but it won't be this devastating. Now, last year in May of 2019, that would be last year, I said that I thought that the markets starting in January would start doing this and a lot of like up and down and up and down, and that it would last about 18 months. So that puts us to about next June, right? Um, Now for us, I said that like I thought things would start to open up a little bit more in July and become a little bit more normal, though wearing masks everywhere. And it really has opened up a lot more. It's not exactly where it was, but it feels more normal than it did in March, April, May, June, really. Um, so I do feel like it'll always be around, but it's just till about mid-June or June next year, and then it starts to kind of go up and get better, and be more stable. Um, I mean, things are going to be kind of like crazy, just unrest. I would say from like basically November to January until just after the election or till just after the inauguration. I don't feel like Trump is going to be in again. Um, Let me see what else you said. Herdish, is there any advice for me from the spirits? One message from spirits. So I've got Herdish and Lauren. So Cheryl, if you want to put in a question. Happy Sunday, spiritual seeker. Yeah, I think, and I said this too, that I thought there would be a vaccine out I might have said October-ish, this month sometime, that they would have something more solid and that they would start administering to like the high risk or the frontline workers by the end of the year. And then everybody else after that. I don't think Trump is going to get in, just like Kanye West wasn't going to run for president. Like that, that's all part of his mental illness. Um, I heard, remember again, last May of last year, that Trump would be out, but not how we want. And I would say a lot of the crap that's going on right now is not how we want. So, and so I'm not even going down that road. How about that? I mean, yeah, that is America for us because we have a lot of people with mental health issues that aren't getting treated properly. And, we don't, like Trump tried to villainize Biden's son having an addiction issue. Well, an addiction is a symptom of trauma. It's a symptom of not coping well with trauma that's happened. And, a lot of our military people who have served have PTSD or have even just have issues, right? So there's no shame in that. Let's just treat and figure out how to heal that so that they don't have the symptom, right? So that they um, can cope in a healthy way. Um, okay, so Cheryl is Chatterbox. Is that it? Okay, so Herdish wants to, sorry, Herdish. Thank you for your patience. General reading. Oh, they said you're doing good, but you need to ramp things up a little bit. And I feel like this is more in your spiritual sense and like growing your interpersonal conversation, your inner uh, shifting your belief systems. Because I feel like I've kind of been like slacking, like maybe not meditating enough. And I'm not one person to be like meditate all the time, but I feel like to do the growth that you want to do or that you should be doing right now, you haven't been taking enough time for yourself and putting enough away for yourself, that you've been sort of, they show me you watching TV a little bit more, kind of like zoning out instead of really connecting in, because the connecting in and healing all of that and setting healthy boundaries is really going to make everything kind of heal around you with your family and your wife and like kind of keep things on the right path. And I feel like I've sort of been a little lazy about it. Um, so that's sort of what they want to talk about. If that's helpful. I'm going to say something on your friend too, but hold on. These people have paid, so I want to answer their stuff. Okay. So that was Herdish. Lauren, any messages from my guides? Anything about my relationship with Adrian? So they said with your relationship, it says that it feels like it's going well, but there's going to be a little hiccup soon. So an argument, a disagreement that feels really big, but know that you'll get back on track. And that, oh, that's funny. It feels like it gets back on track. And I feel like you guys are really kind of working to have better, healthier communication. And then they go, but on the other hand, her boundaries with her friends aren't so great. It feels like there's a little bit. I just feel like I have like this one friend where it's like an overstepping or an overreaching or maybe sharing my opinion too much about what you should be doing and how you should be doing this stuff. And like, oh, you're this and you're that. Like, I just feel like there isn't a really clear boundary with this person. It feels like a friend because it feels like I felt like I was sitting around chatting with girlfriends where you've got the one friend who's like, you should do this and you should do that. And if I was you, and it's just like needing to like kind of zip that one down. I didn't skip you, Chatterbox. Just hold on. But Lauren wrote her question first, so then I'm going to come back to you, Cheryl. Okay. You're welcome. Oh, good. Okay. So I feel like just know that when this like thing comes, it's going to feel like it's a big fight. They're calling it a hiccup. So it's going to feel like a big fight that everything will get back on track. But like, it's really important for you to set some healthier boundaries with your girlfriends. I didn't skip you, Chatterbox. I'm going to do yours. What happens is I call 3 people or so at a time and I wait, because otherwise, if I just wait for one person to write a question, there's a lot of dead space. So I'll bounce back and around. I'm gonna get you. Don't you worry. All right. Okay, I'm starting my own channel. Is that the right way that I should be going? See, I didn't skip you. All right. So they said yes, but it's going to be slower growth than you think, and it also feels like needing to make sure that you're like you have this idea of the way you want to do things because you want to share it a certain way. But I feel like the feeling is like you sort of need to like catch your audience, like make sure you're having the right keywords and things like that. These are things I don't do. I want to do them. But have the right keywords so that you're catching the right audience, and then you can sort of make the more like a little bit different videos to kind of like that your regular subscribers will watch. But it sort of feels like going for the easy stuff first and then like kind of doing a little bit more. No, don't apologize. You're fine. I just didn't want you to sit and panic and be like, ah, because it just works a little differently. Um, does that make sense when I say that? So it's like I had this idea when I first started this channel about how it would be, and it wasn't getting the right hits. And I realized that I like now, like further down, I wasn't using the right keywords and things like that. So it's like sort of like researching your niche and things like that. But I do feel like yes, it's what you should be doing. I do feel like it won't necessarily last as long as you think, because you're gonna either go off in a different direction or you're gonna find like it'll be I don't feel like it'll be your main source of income, but it'll be outreach to the people that you like, and then your main source of income becomes like the side stuff. Maybe having a course or some kind of consulting or something like that on the side. Does that make sense when I say that? So, King recently lost a friend to suicide, and uh, the ones that do it when it's out of depression, it's a lot of times it's that they just cannot see clearly. And as much as we think we love them, didn't they know we loved them? Like we cared about them. They had people that care, like they just can't see straight. Like their perspective and their world is completely different than what the rest of us see. And um does that make sense, Chatterbox, when I say that to you? That I feel like it's going to grow slower. Like I feel like, especially the first 3 or 4 months, are going to feel like, did I do the wrong thing? It's going to be slower. But back to this. So I feel like if they had this really strong belief system that suicide is bad, and they were sort of taught that whole like you're going to go to hell kind of thing, it's really important. Yeah, so Chatterbox, what I would say is like it feels like you wanna do all of that deep stuff, just make sure you're hitting the right keywords to pull people in, because I think people will be interested in it, but you have to, like, pull them in with the get stuff, so that's kind of the get stuff, but just make sure you have the right keywords, and you can do keyword research, to find out, like, um, how many people are searching it and the pool and all of that stuff. But the watch pool, I think it's called. I don't know. I clearly haven't done enough of this. But it just feels like it'll be a little bit more slower growth, but then you'll hit and you'll do fine. You're welcome. Don't we all want to make a difference in our corner? I think that's fantastic that you're being bold and brave and putting yourself out there. Um, so King, those ones I always say send a lot of love to. The other thing is that even when they do go into the light, because they were, like, needing so much healing and they weren't getting it here in this human aspect, um, they do a lot of take a lot of time to do healing on the other side, and so I've noticed with, a closer person that we knew that committed suicide that like he hung out for the first like week or so. He was really, really strong and prominent around. And then after his funeral, he sort of like was kind of gone for a little bit. He would come in and out here and there. Um, but he wasn't as present around me. I mean, he would come in and out to give messages to his loved ones, but they're really doing a lot of work and a lot of healing because they weren't able to do it here. And it's not that they're not. If you think, this is the other thing, when you look at God, if God is this, if you look at it as a parent figure, a divine parent, right? Would you ever look at your child and be like, you're hurting and you're so heartbroken and so in so much distress that you can't handle anything, but you know what, forget you because you did it the wrong way, I'm punishing you. Like that's like super twisted and like again a petty God. Because if my kid came to me and said, I'm so heartbroken and I'm so sad, I would embrace them and just love them, and like they would be welcomed home in a heartbeat. So think about that. um when people kind of say like, oh, that's against God or whatever, I think that's just such shit. um That's like people put these strange things when it comes to organized religion. Like when Chrissy Teigen's, she lost her child, and she was I think halfway through her pregnancy, and I mean they look like little babies at that point. And someone said like, "Oh, God wanted your baby more," and I thought, what the fuck? Don't fucking say that. That's the worst fucking thing you could ever say. Like one, fuck you. Like, and two, like, then that just creates resentment and anger at God. And that's not even what God is about. It's just like shitty things sometimes just happen. And yeah, maybe there's a bigger thing for it, but why do you feel a need to like explain it to someone? Like, just say you're sorry. Tell them you're there for them. Send them love. Like, it's not about making someone feel better. And like, does that make you feel better if you just have this loss? Sorry. It doesn't matter if she was an atheist. She'll be fine. Um, she was like lonely and sad and in despair, so she'll be accepted. God doesn't care. It doesn't matter. It's just like we're so much bigger than this, than all of this stuff. We're so much bigger than all of this. So she'll be okay. She is okay. It's just healing that has to happen. And I'm sure she's better off there. I mean, there's just nothing but love there. The list is closed, Moon Baby. I'll be back next week though. We're just kind of talking about King had a friend who took her own life and he's been upset and having a hard time with it. And grief comes in waves. So be patient with yourself, King. Just be patient with yourself in the process of it. And I will tell you that I've gotten heads up about people passing, but in like weird ways and not knowing exactly. One was I didn't know exactly who it was, but I knew it was someone in that, and I thought it was one of my husband's friends. And every time he'd come over, I thought, this is the last time I'm going to see him. And I couldn't tell anybody, I couldn't say a word. And it was the worst feeling ever. And then another was a friend of the family. And I actually had a dream about doing a reading, and everything that I dreamt about ended up being the reading that I gave to his wife. And if someone is meant to stay here, they will stay here. Every intervention will walk in and keep them here. But if it's meant to be their time and it's time for them to leave, they will. So don't hold yourself responsible. This is for anybody who has a friend who's crossed through suicide, or a family member or loved one. If you were meant to stop it, you would have. If you were meant to intervene, you would have. Thank you, Chatterbox. Oh, thank you. um, it just happens. If it's meant to be, it'll be. And that's the thing we have to reconcile as humans in this experience, is that sometimes it just really sucks. Just really sucks, and you're going to be helpless. And so you have to try and find the light through that, and know that you're resilient and you'll be okay, and that they're okay. But if you were meant to stop her, you would have, right? You would have. Anybody would, right? And it wasn't. That wasn't the journey for her. That wasn't her plan, and the journey for all of those affected by it. It's bigger than we can even understand. I mean, I have a glimpse, but just like, I mean, it's like a fleck of tiny insight as to what the divine universe is. And there's so much more that I'm sure I'll get when I'm over there. Oh, Lisa, I'm sorry. I want to thank King for kind of coming in tonight and asking that, because obviously some other people needed to hear that. And I say this all the time, that like sometimes it's not about getting a direct reading here. Maybe it's just you need to be in the energy of it and hear something on a crossover from a message from somebody else. And usually the people, when they do die of suicide, it's like everybody, I will tell you this, that immediately they'll say, I didn't know I was loved so much. I didn't know everybody loved me this much. It's a common theme that I hear from the spirit, and that's actually my cue to how I know how they passed, is if they say that to me. I'm sorry, King. Thank you, Emily. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't feel comfortable in their own skin. And honestly, if you were meant to know it, again, it's just you have to remind yourself that if you were meant to stop her or intervene or whatever it is, that you would have. Like, you would have been given this intuition, this insight, this whatever it is, not mine, but I'm just saying, like, instinctively know that you're supposed to help someone, and or you would be there at the right time, or whatever the magic is, it would happen, and it didn't because it wasn't supposed to, and it sucks. I do always try to, like, I know the reason why I say I love you, like, to all my friends, always say I love you when I hang up the phone or whatever, is because uh I've dealt with a lot of death, not just, but like from patients and stuff like that. um I never want somebody to not know. If something were to happen to me, I don't want somebody to ever question, or if something happens to them, I don't want to ever think, did they know? I mean, I know they know then, but like, whatever. And I just think I always say I love you. Oh, I'm sorry, King. It's okay. Don't it's okay. It's okay. It's really hard to deal with the whole process of grief, and then you have this other added, um, difficulty that it was somebody who you didn't was like your every connection you have with them is gone now, but you have her in your memory, and you can ask to see her in your dreams, have her visit you in your dreams. That's usually the easiest place if you have any kind of blocks, to see someone. And be gentle with yourself because it's still pretty fresh and it's still pretty new. And thank gosh how lucky she is. She doesn't have to deal with all this Trump stuff anymore. Oh, it's okay. Crying is healing. Crying is healing. Yeah, and sometimes the like depression is really it's not even like it's like they literally cannot see outside of it. It's not that they don't want to. They just like it's that their vision of what the world is so completely different and they just can't. It's not as easy as saying like just see the bright side of the sky. Like it just doesn't work that way. Um I do believe some of it's chemical imbalance. I do believe some of it is trauma. And I mean, there's a whole mixture of why things happen. And I think I would say in like 10 to 20 years, the way we approach mental health medicine will be completely different than we do today. Um, I do think that there will be like sort of a bigger approach towards like I don't know if it's cognitive behavioral therapy, like if that I don't know exactly if that's what I'm thinking it is, but it's like reworking how our brain like rewiring, reprogramming our thought processes instead of automatically jumping to like let's medicate because you're depressed. I've diagnosed you, you're depressed. Like, but so like that's because you're treating the symptom rather than the root cause. I do feel like a lot of people who have depression and things like that, there's a trauma or what they may be set up for it, genetically more inclined to have it or chemically more inclined to have it. There's a root cause and a trigger that causes it. So, like, maybe the way they do this now is like they, first of all, I feel like they're going to develop way better mental health medication. But I also feel like they'll sort of treat that so whatever medication they're on is much lighter dosing than what it would be. Aw. Hang in there, King, okay? Just be patient with yourself with the process of grief and going through it, and it'll come in waves, and there is no time frame of when you're supposed to feel like, "Okay, I'm better, everything's great." Like, it doesn't happen that way, it doesn't work that way. So, just be patient with the process and allow yourself to really grieve and to cry about it, and be angry if you need to get angry or whatever those emotions are, just allow yourself. Oh, I'll look for it. I do feel like Trump is gonna lose. I feel like well, I'll tell you what I said is what I heard from my guides, last May was he'll be out, but not how we want. Yeah, and that's the whole Ali, that's the whole idea of like when you have a sin, it passes for 7 generations. Um, and there's something called post-traumatic slave uh syndrome where and the example of it on the woman and I feel bad that I don't remember her name with the video I watched where she or the example she gave was beautiful. She said, it's if you have a white mother and a black mother and they both have sons same age, same classroom, whatever. And the teacher comes over. If the white says to the white mother, your son's doing really well. I mean, he's doing so great. He's excelling. Then the white mother will be like, oh my God, he's so great. I know, blah, blah, blah. Like everything is wonderful. And the black mother might say, like, oh, but I have such a hard time with him at home. And that's sort of, they say, will come from, if you have generations past where in slave times, if your son, if you were a slave and your son, the slave owner comes up to you and says, your son is so strong and he works so hard. If you talk up your son, then you would risk having your son or daughter, whatever it is, being sold off. So as a way, it means to keep the family together, you would be like, oh no, it's so terrible at home. And you would really kind of knock them down a few levels. And so this was created for safety, right? For survival. It was created for a really good reason, and it helped. But when you pass it down, then you have the belief system is like, and I did a reading for someone. She goes, oh yeah, my grandmother used to say, I'll never tell you you're 100%. At a point, it now becomes a toxic thing, and it's no longer about protection. It's just, we do this because we do this, like it's so ingrained in subconscious, right? There are other behaviors that happen the same thing with enmeshment or any sort of like verbal abuse or neglect or whatever. It like kind of gets handed down, and people do the best they can and want to try and do better. But until they become conscious of needing to heal the generations past, right? Heal and stop that so that you can heal the ones forward. You get stuck in a cycle. And I think like it's just going to shift. Our whole mental health system is going to shift in the next 10 to 20 years in a big way. And we're also going to be really kind of looking at the level of, at a societal level, doing more. And I see it more in my kids' school now, where we never talked about emotions and being angry as a kid, like maybe a little bit, but not to the degree that my kids get talked to about it. And certainly my parents never talked about like emotions being okay, or, like if my kids cry, I'm kind of like, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be all these things. These are all normal, and it's okay to feel these way. So, you're welcome, King. I'm glad you were here. I'm glad you felt safe here. So I'm really sorry about your loss. It sucks. There's really not a whole lot else to say about that, but it sucks. And I don't know what makes you feel better when you lose somebody. You just sort of have to go through that process to listen to her music. All right. So I'm going to go. I'm tired. And I have an early morning and a long day tomorrow with the girls. Family has been through a lot of trauma, and I'm trying really hard to end it no matter what. Yeah, you got to heal yourself first, Allie. And you really can't, like, that's the thing about when you have like toxic relationships and things, is like you sort of start to worry about what everybody else thinks first, and putting everybody else's needs before yours, and thinking that you're selfish if you like think about yourself first. So it's really tricky and it's hard. So be patient with yourself as you're healing, and know that you may have triggers from the stuff for the rest of your life. But instead of getting upset that like, oh, I'm still triggered, go, oh, but I'm better than I was back then. Like, so you can see where your progress is. So, all right. Good night. I will be back next Sunday, same time, 8:30 p.m. You're welcome. Eastern time. Soon enough, we're going to be changing from standard to daylight, I believe, or daylight to standard. I don't know, whatever it is. We'll be there. We'll be here. So if you want a private reading, you can go to my website and purchase one. I get 2 notifications as soon as you purchase one. So I will get back to you. Don't worry. If you want to start mentoring, I will have some availability a little bit further down the line, but I will do that. I'm going to look at doing maybe some manifesting mentoring too. Y'all have a good night. I hope you are all well and have a wonderful week.